Exercise 3 comes in 3 parts. The first part of the question is asking us to find the scale factor. The second part is asking us to list the congruent angles. And the third part is asking us to list the ratios of the corresponding side lengths. First, we want to find the scale factor. We know that triangle ABC is similar to triangle LMN, and ABC is smaller while LMN is bigger, so this is an enlargement problem, which means that our scale factor has to be greater than 1, or an improper fraction. So when we go to find K, we can list all of the corresponding side lengths, but we have to make sure that we take the longer corresponding side, and it needs to be on the top of the fraction, and the smaller corresponding side on the bottom. So the first one, if we take 6, which is LN, and it corresponds to 4.5, which is AC, and 9, which is LM, corresponds to 6.75, which is AB, and 8, which is NM, corresponds to 6, which is CB. All of those fractions have the same value. If you change them into decimals, they are all 1.3 repeating. And as a fraction, you could reduce all of them to 4/3. So on this problem, the scale factor is 4/3, or all of the small sides were multiplied by 4.3 to create the bigger sides in triangle LMN. The next step is to list the corresponding angles, and so angle A is congruent to angle L. Angle B is congruent to angle M, and angle C is congruent to angle N. Finally, they want us to write the ratios of the corresponding side lengths. We've already done that, but not in a statement of proportionality. We've just written the numerical values of the sides. But we can fix that or change that to get the answer that they're asking us for by replacing the lengths of the sides with the names of the sides. So on the first one, LN was 6 and AC was 4.5. The second one, LM was 9 and AB was 6.75. And the third set of sides, MN was 8 and CB was 6. So now if we go and look at the answer choices, LN and AC is right here. So that would be one of the answers. And LM and AB is right here. That would be another one of the answers. And the final answer, MN and CB, is right here. So that would be our third answer. So those are the correct answers to problem number 3. Problem number 4 is asking us the same questions, but this time it's a reduction problem. The original quadrilateral, DEFG, is bigger than the second quadrilateral, LSPQ or RSPQ. So now our scale factor needs to be a fraction that's in between 0 and 1. In other words, the scale factor has to be a proper fraction. The other thing that makes this problem more difficult is the two quadrilaterals are not oriented in the same direction. RSPQ has been not only made smaller, but also rotated. So many students have a difficult time figuring out how to line up the corresponding sides. But here's a really easy way to tell. If we look at RSPQ and we find the shortest side is 1. We know that the shortest side of that quadrilateral has to be corresponding to the shortest side of the larger quadrilateral. So out of 3, 6, 9, and 12, the shortest side is 3. So we've put the shortest side of the small quadrilateral over the shortest side of the big quadrilateral. Now we're going to go to the next biggest side. there's a side that's 2, that's the second biggest side, and in the larger quadrilateral, the second bigger side is 6. The third biggest side is 3, and that corresponds to the third biggest side, which is 9. And then the biggest side is 4, which corresponds to the biggest side, which is 12. All of those fractions, if you change them into a decimal, will be 0.3 repeating, or as a fraction, 1/3. So the scale factor for this problem that is a reduction is a proper fraction, and that proper fraction is 1/3. Angle D is going to correspond to angle P, or be congruent to angle P. Angle E is going to correspond to angle Q. Angle F is going to correspond to angle R. And angle G is going to correspond to angle S. So all of those corresponding angles are congruent. All right, now for the statement of proportionality, we can do the same thing that we did on the problem above. 1 is side RQ, and 3 is side EF. 2 is side SP, and 6 is side DG. 3 is side QP, and 9 is side DE. And finally, 4 is side RS, and 12 is side GF. So now if we just find those same answers at the bottom of the page, those are the 4 answers to this problem. RQ and EF is here. SP and DG is here. QP and DE is here. And finally, RS and GF is here. And that would be our last answer. So that's how you do problem number 3 and 4.